Boom, boom, boom. Stay locked, because we're the bomb.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good everything. It's actually a beautiful day to be alive. It's a good day to be at the bar. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Ola Dolupo. You know, the one and only. The one and only Ola Dolupo Young. Anyway, it is like he had said, it's a beautiful, beautiful week. It's a brand new week. And we bid you a warm welcome to the bar this very interesting afternoon. If you're just joining us for the very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is where we bring everything about music, entertainment, sports, and everything else in between.
We call it the boombar. We're at the bar. We have the drinks. The guys are here. So and we have just like forget it, man. Many things are happening. Big things are going. Holy patterns. Yeah, overstand. Yeah, get.
No.
Yes. So you understand that overstand means understand. All right. So yes, that's what we do, and we are, of course, based in Lagos, Nigeria, and we are bringing it to the rest of the world. So let's talk music, sports, politics, and everything in between.
In between. So very interesting stories this afternoon that we are going to be looking at. So there's a story that still looks like the story of Lagos and EndSARS and is not ending anytime soon. That we're definitely going to get to today. Ohanaeze Indigo is in the news and they have something to say about Simon Ekpa. Wondering who Simon Ekpa is? Stick around.
Don't go nowhere.
Also, Big Brother Naija is back now. It's Big Brother Naija All Stars. I think there's a bit of breaking down that we're going to be doing on that as well.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of other things. The Women's World Cup is ongoing. There's a lot of surprises that
Goals
is,
galore.
yeah, that is definitely brought up. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. Transfer season is still on. So yes, that and a few other things as time goes on. And something that I saw earlier today, trend carefully.
Yeah.
Be
So
careful how you...
don't go anywhere. We'll be, we'll be going through these things for the next 1 hour.
Exactly. So let's get right into it. First things first. The issue of the 103 EndSARS victims for mass burial. Now, there's a conversation. I think this popped up a few days ago where there was a leaked memo that showed that Lagos state government had approved some millions of naira for a mass burial of 103 EndSARS victims. Now, it was said that there was about 61,285,000 naira for the mass burials of 103 persons identified as 2020 EndSARS victims. Now, this obviously brought a lot of conversation about, for example, there was conversation that there was, the part where the Lagos state government has always said that there were no victims at the Lekki toll gate, which was one of the...
They didn't say there were no victims.
Or they were definitely not that kind of... It wasn't a massacre.
Thank you.
There was
Thank
a lot
you.
of back and forth on that. And of course, I think that definitely got a lot of people triggered that. And now, according to them, they're saying that the 103 persons were not from the Lekki toll gate. They're from everywhere around the country. Around the state.
Lagos is a country, regardless of the size. You look at how many ethnicities are represented here, and the volume of business that Lagos, kind of like, is in charge of on a daily. But yeah, now this is a contentious issue, and it's almost a generational slash religious slash regional thing. I noticed that a lot of people are triggered when it comes to the not just the EndSARS protest now, but majorly the Lekki, okay, Tollgate, yeah, Lekki Tollgate. Some people will tell you that oh, it was a massacre. A lot of people were killed. We saw videos of the gunshots and stuff, and a lot of people. In fact, one of the people that they said that died has arrested somebody now for for accusing her of being a pimp. You know. So we saw all of this. Let's not get it twisted. However, the matter that if there was a massacre or not is no longer a contentious issue. It has to be a fact. So as soon as this so-called leaked memo came out, I saw a lot of people coming, like, you know, there's Obi Ezekwe-Sili, who, you know, is always very vocal when it comes to national issues.
Oh, she has something to say now.
Oh, man, she's been on about it. Like, and I said to myself, didn't you just say you're not the president and you was not going to be talking about insecurity and stuff?
I have a few things to say.
When it comes to Lagos, there's this serious add-on that people have.
Yeah. When it comes to their villages and their towns and their
they
states.
Ain't got none to say about
I've got
it.
amnesia. Oh, I've got amnesia.
None to say.
Definitely have got amnesia.
You know, so I don't like it when we agree. So I might be forced to take another stance.
No,
let's balance our stance.
They are not balancing anything. It is what it is.
So what it is that I think that on my own part, because for instance, was it Cable NG? You know, the headline was very long. Lagos set for mass burial, something about how they're not lucky victims. Lucky Tollgate victims. Depends on who you're listening to. Some people say it's Lucky Massacre. Some people say it's Lucky Tollgate. And the same Cable NG had carried stories of how Lagos was asking people to come and claim, you know, the bodies of their people. Like, there's a follow-up of 2 years ago that shows that the same set of bodies now that they want to...
They were asked to come and claim.
They've been calling for people to come through. Like, do you get? Same platform. And I think that journalism, broadcasting, you know, print production, journalism needs a total overhaul, and people need to be real. Who are you in the game for? You know, it's almost as if, you know, everybody's all about the clicks and clout. Like, let me put it out there. They'll watch my video, and I will make money from them.
Well, you know the truth. Let's call a spade a spade. We are at a point now where a lot of people don't watch stuff. A lot of people don't listen, or more like a lot of people don't read. So I feel that this clickbait issue will continue if, from the journalism angle, journalists are not, what's the word now? They're not responsible enough to put out proper news. And then there's also the general public of the angle of people also not being responsible enough to actually do a little bit of digging before going on with it. So there will always be the issue of clickbait if also the receivers do not get, what's the word now, are not responsible.
So what we try to do is to create a balance, and we also try to, you know, create awareness about what's going on in and around you and me. You know? And so we are highly exposed. There's the tendency or propensity for some media platforms to, you know, play up the potential earnings because they have to create controversy.
Yeah.
And it's about clicks. You know, how many views, how many people are reading, how many people are sharing.
Oh, okay.
So, the Lekki tollgate issue became a major talking point. I think it was People's Gazette that, more or less they crafted their headline like they were, in know. And they're saying that, now the bodies from this massacre are going to be buried. But me, I'm going to blame Lagos State. I'm going to blame Lagos State.
Official things, when do we actually finally stop getting leaked?
Very importantly.
I personally feel that until state governments and federal governments start penalizing people for these things, because it passes somebody's office. Somebody somewhere definitely leaked it.
Now we don't know what the law says about how long you keep John Does. A John Doe is a body or a person that you don't have the identity, and there's no relative that's going to come claim that body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how you're able to keep a body for over 2 years at your morgue. And even people who actually require that facility are told that the facility is not available.
Yeah.
That's a loss of revenue, isn't it, Lagos State?
Yeah.
So that's one angle to it, loss of revenue. Second angle is that we're talking about the leak, so it's the third angle. The third angle is, how is it possible, Dolupo, that you require a mass burial of over 100, bodies?
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be other scientific and more economic and, safe ways to do this? You require over 60 million naira
to bury people. I think that when it comes to, take for example, I think that when it comes to things like organ donation and all that, it is not the relative or the person itself has to be involved.
I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about cremation, for instance. I'm talking about cremation.
That will probably cost money.
It won't be 61 million. It won't cost that much.
Okay.
And
because
again,
if you actually look at the angle of you don't
require
need that much
space.
land and space and all that. Yes, I think I agree with that.
I'm just saying
angle.
that, look, there are a lot of tough decisions to be taken. There will be John Does. There will be bodies that nobody will claim, even if the relatives are still searching for
them.
You remember
some of those relatives might not even know.
One of our close people here, the supine, coordinator, Emeka Ogbolu, was telling us about, a patient that they had who had left somewhere in the south and somehow found his way in Lagos. And he had been psychotic. He was on the street, a vagrant. I think they call it vagrant psychotics or something. Been on the street for years. Then they rehabilitated him, relocated him back to his base.
And they had already done, I remember they already done a burial for him and all that they didn't even know that he was still alive. Yeah.
So the John Doe issue will always be with us.
Yeah, I think it's not a Nigerian thing. It's worse in Nigeria because maybe we don't have a lot of documentation for everybody. It makes it worse. But the let's go a little bit back to the issue of the EndSARS victims. If we remember correctly, I like to let us see things objectively. If we remember correctly, before even the Lekki incident, if I remember very well, the Lekki incident was at the tail end, and I think that was what finally quelled the whole riots. That was where the soldiers decided they were going to come, and then everything was just going to be shut down. Yeah, I think there was a 24, 48-hour curfew and all that. Everybody, I think that was really the end. But if we remember, there were riots and protests for about 2 weeks before that time. Yeah, we saw there were a lot of burnt police stations. it was before the Lekki issue that there were burning BRT buses. The BRT station at Brega got burnt. The one at Oyigbo?
Yes.
What's Oyigbo? It got burnt. There were a few places that that there was a lot of violence involved and people had died. People actually died in between. So if we really look at it, there was a whole lot of events leading up to that Lekki issue, because even if we remember very well, it was announcement of a curfew that brought about the issue that happened in Lekki. So do I think that I honestly did not think that there were that many people that had died in Lagos State. But if we actually also do a little bit more digging, a lot more people died in other states. A lot of people died in other states. I will still go back to whoever leaked this thing. We need to get to a point where it might be good information for everybody here. It might be news, stuff worthy to talk about. But I think that it is a horrible sign, and it's not going to augur well, that things that are supposed to be confidential find its way out. It left somebody's table. There is paper, so there's a paper trail. Some set of people need to pay for it, because until you start actually giving people, there's punishments and penalties for this kind of thing. This thing will keep happening. When somebody else knows that their job is on the line, you will keep a confidential document confidential.
Extremely. It's important because, like you said, when you know that your job is on the line. And, it speaks to incompetence on the part of government where, your documents are being leaked on a regular. It shouldn't happen. But, again, I also feel that we are so selective in our, reactions. These stories about all these guys all these bodies that are going to be buried, that need to be buried, is not a new story. I repeat again, a couple of media houses have been following up. And I feel again that they haven't done well, because that's the time for them to play it up to say, remember we told you in 2020, 2021, 2022.
There's a progression to this. Now, before we leave that angle, lead counsel to EndSARS petitioners and Adeshino Ogunlano has faulted the position of the Lagos state government, accusing the government that why do they need, that they're trying to make money off the death of people. Now, according to him, he said the Lagos state government is being clever by half, and they're not telling the absolute truth. He said, yes, I agree with the position that 100 bodies were said, not all of them were picked up at Lekki toll gates and its environs. And he now said that because of that, he doesn't know why that the government is using as much as 61 million naira.
I said it earlier, right? And these are the issues. Like, I think Mr. Ogunleye, right? Ogulano used to be NBA chairman one time in Lagos or something, Ikeja NBA or Lagos NBA.
Yeah. So according to his statement, he said that people saying that 103 is proof that actually 103 people were killed at Lekki toll gates is a grave error, that I will not join anybody in saying that. But to say that there was nobody recovered in the environs of Lekki toll gate incident is completely wrong.
Exactly.
It is attempting to profit from the cruel loss of lives by approving as much as over 60 million naira for the mass burial that I do not agree with.
I don't agree with that too. I said it before, again, like for real, like, okay, how did you arrive at 61 million naira? The local governments and state governments own cemeteries. They own the cemeteries, right? Are they going to pay themselves? These are mass burials, right? Yeah, no,
so they're supposed to pay a trust, according to the leaked document. It is money that's supposed to pay to a private company, trust funerals.
Do you need a trust funeral? Look, I know that there's also dignity in death. Like people die and you want to, you know,
Bury them properly.
properly. But do you need expensive caskets and coffins? These are bodies that have not been claimed for 2-3 years. Do you need to spend that much? I might be sounding gory. Maybe I'm being gory. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. But I'm glad that there's a lawyer who also thinks along with me. Like 61 million, that people who are alive that money would serve a lot for. Would do a lot for them. You know?
So 61 million. I decided to divide 61 million by 103. So we're looking at about 592,000 naira, 233 per person.
Per body.
500 and so almost 600,000 naira to bury one person.
Cadavers, you know, no name.
It's not adding up.
John Doe's, people don't have family.
This money is not adding up. Lagos State government, this money is not adding up. Let's call it spade.
I don't know. You all need to look into this because don't profit off this thing. And I agree with this lawyer. However, I disagree with all the people who are going on about it's like nah, come on. Because there's a challenge that people have thrown, and they keep saying it. If there was a mass killing of people at Lekki, there will be a mass wailing of their relatives.
Yeah.
I ain't heard. We really still ain't seen it.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on from that quickly.
But wait.
Okay.
Were people killed at Lekki? Yes.
Oh, yeah. I
Did
think
people
so.
die? Yes. The numbers, I don't know. But was there a massacre? No.
Let's be coming down.
No
The
massacre.
kind of things that we say, yeah. Okay. Let's move on from that. And a very, very interesting thing about, I was going to go on about the people that suddenly have a voice when anything has to do with Lagos. But do not forget that they actually come from places different from Lagos. Now, this is talking about the Southeast and the sit-at-home issue. Now, the Ohanaeze Indigbo worldwide has now placed a $500,000 bounty on Finland resident Simon Ekpa, who is supposed to be the new Biafra Lord, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, a few months ago, he announced himself as the prime minister of the Biafra government in international, maybe like in exile or something.
Who sent him on exile?
I don't know, but he shall announce that there's a government, there's a Biafra government. They have ministers and everything.
Okay, I was really gonna say, yeah. There are a lot of things that I would say that I have a lot of misgivings when it comes to a few people, especially people that we see as past heroes and all that. So maybe I will not get to that angle. But the little that I know and I have read, this whole Biafra thing started with Odumegwu Ojukwu. Until he went on exile, and that was like the end of the Biafra war. He was in Nigeria fighting the war. Yeah?
Yes.
He was with his people trying to fight for the liberation of the Biafra. That you cannot take away.
No, you can't.
Now, whether whatever happened then made sense or not, that story for another day. What I'm trying to bring out is, if we now move on from that and move on to the era of Nnamdi Kanu, who was in Israel, was in this, went to all sorts of places, jumped bail, traveled abroad before he was brought back. However, I was brought back, not my business. And then this Simon Ekpa person, what is the common denominator? Somebody or some set of people, so that I've done a bit of research and see that it's not only Simon Ekpa, there are a few of other people too that are not in Nigeria that are pushing this Biafra issue, yeah, and all the sit-at-homes and all that. Now, my issue with them, or the common denominator with them, is they do not live in Nigeria. They do not suffer from the terrible economy in the southeast, the insurgents,
The sit at home.
the sit at home, the violence that is happening. They do not suffer from all those things. But they stay in some other country and they're reeling out orders. And people are dying because of those ridiculous things that they're doing.
You know,
Does it make any sense? Like, make it make sense.
in the Southeast, it's not just that people are dying. People are being, killed and shot or dealt with for stepping out on their sit-at-home days. What about the economy? What about education? What about health? What about banking? Look at the issues where some banks cannot even open for more than a week. In a week, maybe 2 or 3
3 days.
days.
Nobody wants to stay there.
Then there's a period when students were writing their exams, and they really could not.
They got attacked. And then you wonder, like, okay, so what exactly is your plan? See, the least you can do is come to Nigeria and fight this thing with your people.
Why don't you come home?
Let's be honest with ourselves. No matter how bad it is, there's still some people in the southeast, even in other parts of Nigeria, that believe in this Biafra thing, which is, and the sad part, you'll see a lot of them, the ones that are not abroad, and in places like Lagos and all that are living their lives like normal people, but invariably are inflicting pain and hardship on people living in the southeast. I personally think all this, what's it called? All these bounties and all that, how much is it going to do? I think that it gets to a point where the federal government needs to take a stance. The federal government needs to liaise with the Finnish government. This person needs to be brought back. People cannot continue to live like this. They can't continue.
When you say brought back, what do you mean? Like federal government say, bring him back. He has to answer.
Yes, he has crimes to humanity. Because these people have people have a right to life. People have a right to going out, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. You have impeded on their human rights. This is human rights issues right here. There is I don't think there is an explanation for the madness that is going in the southeast. I'm sorry. Make it make sense. It does not make any sense.
All right, so if you're just joining us, you're still listening to the boombar and you're watching the boombar, and Ohanaeze Indigbo, which is an Igbo group, are said to have placed a $500,000 bounty on another Igbo man who, claims to be in charge of the IPOB group.
Mm-hmm.
And, these are interesting times. Like, maybe some guys are already calculating, like, if we go Finland, we move this guy, carry and call live and direct.
Are you sure say we have no go reach that?
$500,000.
Because how much is flight to Finland?
That's $500,000.
How much is flight to Finland?
First thing first, dollar is like 820, 800 or something. Then you get like 410
I sure we
million.
not go think this thing through.
How much are we gonna spend? You spend maybe like 30 million.
Where is Finland the embassy?
It's not far now.
Is it Lagos?
Somewhere there.
If it's not Lagos, it's Abuja.
It's like 500 million. You can spend any amount.
We cannot spend more than 30 million.
But it's not funny, and I'm hoping that the good people of the Southeast will be allowed to live their lives without all of this terrible political
madness.
Yeah, solutions.
Madness. Anyway, let's move on from that quickly, and let's go on to Kwara State. Interesting times in Kwara State, where the governor has approved a 10 million naira monthly palliative. 10,000 naira. Sorry, 10,000.
All of us will be going to Kwara tomorrow morning.
I'm from Kwara.
I am too.
Oh no.
Our governor is giving us 10 million. Why would I be from Kwara?
Don't touch. Thank you.
So it's 10K, so I'm not from Kwara.
Anyway, shall manage like that. Thank you. Anyway, the governor has approved a 10,000 naira monthly palliative for workers up until the minimum wage is going to be reviewed. I think that, remember that the National Economic Council meeting that happened last week, one of the resolutions was that there definitely has to be an increase in minimum wage. At least we know that state governments are getting paid a lot more now.
Yeah, and one of my biggest fears is their plans to ask the states to come up with their own social register, the register that captures the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
I think the previous government has done an amazing job at that. I read World Bank reports, and it shows that they really vested in it.
Did it? But this one now, are you sure that the state governments are not going to?
State government, it's going to be political now.
I agree. I think I agree. And that it could be. Really could be.
Well, the federal government says, "Oh, we're giving your state 5,000 slots for the poorest of the poor for the next 6 months. They're gonna get."
Are we sure that it's really
8,000
the poorest of the poor that is going to get it?
The brother is just going to call people that he knows and give them.
Yeah,
and
the
other ones,
agree.
Those ones will give someone too that they know.
I think I agree. The federal government maybe needs to look into this conversation. Still talking about that angle now. Before we go on to, there's actually a lot of interesting and timid stories that we're going to go through. Just wanted to go through all these stories quickly. Now, there's a story that's been going on since last week, and it is school fees increment. I think the conversation first started with University of Lagos. Then, I think they moved it to like about 100 to 140,000 naira, from between 10 to 16,000 naira school fees. I honestly did not even know University of Lagos school
was
fees
that
were
cheap?
cheap.
Sorry.
I did not know
Cheap.
school fees were that
I know
cheap.
it's cheap, but I mean it's cheap.
Now, the Unity schools, that's the federal secondary schools, yeah? They increased the school fees from about 40,000 naira to 100,000 naira. I read a statement from the University of Lagos. They were talking about how it is the reality of things on ground that has brought about the issue of the increment. Now, also,
There's pushback.
there is
There
the
are a lot of
Unity
complaints.
schools too. They're talking about how there's a lot of things that have happened that is really not about the fees, but it's an increase in other things that you pay. So apparently, school fees is free. The tuition is free. It is every other thing in between
That's the problem that they have to
that
pay for.
they have to pay for, that there is an increment in. Now,
Yeah.
let's start from the Unity schools. I know that Unity schools school fees are cheap, really.
Yeah.
But, and I think it actually applies to the universities as well, we want a certain level of, what's it called? Want a certain level of standard. I know that I saw someone's submission that there was the Times of Awolowo where school was free. So how come there's the issue now of that happening? And the first thing that popped in my mind is, do we have the same economy of that time? We don't. Is it this? We're not in the same reality, and that's one truth. Let's be honest with ourselves. Two, I feel, this is my own personal opinion, most times when things are very free, there is an attitude that comes from
The people who receive
the
free
people
stuff.
that receive it, even the people given. Now, this is not the government, except from maybe a few states. When you go to primary and secondary schools that are free, they're government owned, the attitude of the teachers, even though they get paid, don't get me wrong, the truth about it is that if you really look at it, compared to even private schools, a lot of primary and secondary school, a lot of teachers rather go to public schools. They actually get paid, not like their payment is bad or anything.
Job security also.
They have job security and all that. So they actually prefer it.
The work benefits, they think
They don't have as much workload.
their pension is guaranteed. We know I'm not really saying any private school that guarantees your pension.
Yeah.
Except that they sign into some pension scheme.
Yeah, and all that. Like, so there are like a whole lot of things that I know for a fact that a lot of people actually prefer to go through this system of going to work with the state or the federal government in schools. But that's why I said that. But do you see the same quality of education? No.
No, you don't.
You don't.
No, you don't.
So maybe, just maybe, if then the people receiving it as well. You can't tell me that a parent is going to pay 100,000 now, and then you come back and tell me that you want to repeat in school. Are you joking?
The thing is that I've been going on about how the Nigerian laws are outdated and archaic, and they need to be upgraded. Mm-hmm. It's the same way even the fine systems.
Yeah.
Like, someone commits a crime. Even now, that someone might even, I don't know when we're going to start this our constitutional review thing, yeah? But someone might commit a crime that is worth billions of naira, and the punishment is millions of naira or hundreds of thousands.
But that's what's in the constitution.
And
so
that's the law.
really
And the law is a peep. It doesn't care. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for school fees and some of these things. That you are actually attending a federal university and you're paying, I don't know, less than $20. How much is that in dollars?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's be real. Now, one of the ways that we can stop the frequent ASU strikes is for the schools to be able to sustain themselves. Yeah. Now, Unilag happens to be one of the universities that became the most creative when it came to internally generated revenue. Unilag water, Unilag bread, Unilag this,
they all have
Unilag
the same
that.
memo.
No, I think Unilag was the pioneer for a lot of these things. I stand to be corrected though. I'm not standing on that to say they did, but I know that I experienced it. I'm not a student at Unilag, but we saw all of these things. So what happens?
What happens to all the money that you're generating?
And again, your school fees is now the least.
Like, see, I don't know about Unilag, yeah, but there are a few things that I know. There are a few schools. Take, for example, University of Ibadan. Water, bread, poultry, there's nothing else. In fact, it's as bad as you're bringing a taxi into the school. Your taxi cannot cannot pass the gate. You would have to, if you want a taxi to take you to where you're going inside University of Ibadan, you would have to take a taxi that is, what's the word now? A taxi that has to do with the school, that is actually the school's taxi, approved taxi. So then you now wonder, like, okay, so where's all this money? I know that there's literally a bakery, there's UI Water, UI generates its own power to some extent. All this, and this happens to mostly federal schools, yeah? And then you now wonder, like, where's all this money coming from? There's still also the allocation they get every year. There's still the school fees that is being paid. So what is all this money being? And then you're always going on about autonomy. We cannot have autonomy in these schools if you don't pay for these amenities. I know that it is, at this point, a lot of people already find it hard to pay for what already is there. It's the honest truth. There's really nothing we can do about it. But the truth is that the reality of what's happening right now, I do not think that these fees are going to be they're going to be reduced anytime soon. Really, I think that for university students, yeah, but also the Unity schools, 40,000 to 100,000 is a lot. That's more than 100% increase. That's about 120% increase when we really look at it. But my own is that you cannot tell these people to now pay 120% increase. You can't tell someone that is paying 14,000 in NILAG to come and pay 100,000 and they do not get quality for their education. It is at that point that we're actually going to fight. Literally going to fight. There is a lot of disparity in between those two things, and it is killing. So people cannot go through all this what's the word now? All the stress to deal with everything they're dealing with, and then they struggle to pay for their students, and then we still have strikes. Lecturers don't come to classes and when due. Lecturers oppress students. We can't have those kind of things. You can't be in school and there is no power. Students can't be in school and there is no water. You know, all these kind of things. It is not making any sense. It is in those things that we know for a fact that you can't have all those things. That's where my own issue comes from. You can't pay all that money and then you now tell me that students are striking because there's no water or there's no light or there's no. Is that one that I will fight? Basically.
Maybe I actually needed that step out to respond to these things. In looking at these things, we must also be careful and look at maybe do a comparative analysis. These are the best schools in Nigeria. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
When you talk about University of Lagos, it must be in the top 3, top 5, top 10 schools in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And you're really serious about telling me that the old school fees that people have been paying for like 1 million years is what they are still paying in 2023, even with all the increase, most of their classrooms and the dormitories, hostels, they're powered by diesel generators, and diesel went up like 1 million years ago. So again, if you're really going to talk about it, let's be honest with ourselves. You actually need a price hike. So that apart from the other IGLs that are generated revenues from sales and creation of products, even the basic school fees and the tuition and everything really has to go up. I'm sorry people need to understand it, but we're at a place where we must realize that we have been living a false life for too many years.
Yeah, I agree.
Subsidy is something that government brought in the 70s when Nigeria started making money. But I think that it stayed for too long.
The reality can't work. It definitely can't work. Anyway, let's move on quickly from that, and let's move on to a bit of entertainment stories. First things first, Elon Musk is now I think Twitter has officially changed to X.
Yeah.
It's not changed on my phone though, but I checked my computer. I think it has changed. So maybe it's computers that change first. But anyway, it has changed, so it's now X.
So the thing about it is, I think it's dumb.
Okay.
I think it's unnecessary, and I think that Elon Musk has taken this billionaire whiskey thing too far. But look, listen.
But if you have money,
wait. Yeah. That's why I said listen. I had to speak my mind first before I speak reality.
But
so wait a minute. Who are you?
Who are you to have an opinion?
You have an opinion.
There's money.
The man has one of the biggest electric car manufacturing companies in the world, Tesla. They sell electric cars that everybody wants to drive.
Yeah.
Self-driving cars and all of that. Are you kidding me? The man has been to space or has sent people to space and is about to send more people.
So, you gotta do whatever it is. When you have your own money, do whatever it is you like. You to go and buy Instagram and turn it to
Elon Musk reminds me of when we were really little and we used to play football in our compound. Like maybe we play in my house today, then we play in my neighbor's house the next day.
But
and that's what reminds me of Elon Musk and what we were doing. Now, what's the correlation? Tolupo has already given you a snippet. Now, to play football, soccer, you call it soccer in America, you need a ball.
Yeah.
And at times, we would actually put our resources together to buy a ball. In that scenario, we come up with the rules. Everybody, at that age, everybody will come up with the rules. This is what we're going to do. You can only play for this. You can only do that. But heaven help you when there's no money to pull resources and one person owns the ball.
is the one that determines the rules.
He that owns the ball
Is the one
dictates
that
the
determines who
tune.
plays. He can change the rules in the middle of the game.
Heaven help you that the owner of the ball is on the losing end of a particular game.
That game cannot end.
If
Because
he
if he
picks
carry
his
his
ball
and he's off to his house.
and is off, how do you want to win?
Oh my God.
And that's all I say
That's
about
it,
Elon.
that's it.
Elon has a lot of money,
and
he's
he's shifting
spending
the
it the way he
goalposts,
wants.
whatever, however.
spending it the way he wants.
Yes, I
that's
think
that's
what
the way
happens.
I say it. And I really want to hear people's opinions about this. Or do you agree? Do you disagree? I really don't care what you feel. I just want to hear it.
Hear it, yeah.
You know, because honestly, man has money and man can do what
You
he
do
wants.
whatever he wants.
But finally, because I know we need to move on. There's
Yeah.
so many stories. I think X is dumb.
If you are angry, there's already an option. You can go there.
Tread
Yeah.
and the others.
You can do whatever.
There's a
you want.
Nigerian that's
There's
going back.
Truth Social.
Nah,
there's,
I'll never do True Social.
There's I think Crow.
Crow. There's a Nigerian that's
There's
done
Crow.
Yeah.
There's which one was that?
The Indians have
is it
one.
Indian or Chinese?
No,
There
the
was
Indians
one
have one.
Indian one.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, there's
Cool.
cool. So y'all have options. Do whatever you like. He's doing whatever he likes with his own stuff.
Is money.
Anyway, moving on from that, this is a very interesting story. Yeah. We're going back to Anambra State, where a popular Anambra celebrity, native doctor, by the name...
Pause. There's a celebrity lady doctor again. Wait,
there's
now.
no celebrity doctor that people don't even have this.
So wait. So apart from celebrity actors and connoisseurs and chefs, we now
It
have,
says celebrity native doctor. Is he your native doctor?
all right. So tell me more, because it's crazy though.
I don't even understand. Has now been kidnapped.
Wait. A native doctor is supposed to be like a magician kind of guy now.
He's supposed to have
He has jazz now.
He's
He has,
supposed to have
and if you
jazz.
don't know what jazz means, in some places they call it juju. Some places they call it muti. It is
one of he owns
spiritual
hotels.
power.
Oh, wow.
The guy owns hotels, have you? How come
Yes.
he doesn't have a string
So
of
he
shrines?
was
A string of
kidnapped
shrines.
On Sunday night in one of his hotels.
Oh, yeah.
The native doctor known as Akwa Okuku Tiwaraki, which is translated as an egg that breaks palm nuts,
Okay.
was believed to possess the power of disappearance, but could not disappear when kidnappers came.
Wait, no,
Oh my God.
no, don't laugh.
Okay.
Do you know it's possible that they didn't have light?
Meaning?
If there's no light, you can't power your plane, and maybe there was no jet A1 fuel, or maybe it's actually an electronic plane, and the lithium batteries were flat. Abi?
Now, 2 of his personal aides were said to have been killed.
No, that's
So
not funny.
a source now said that he's officially has been kidnapped. 2 of his security men were shot dead. This said person now says, and I quote, "The ease of his abduction has put a question mark on his rumored strength."
You see, a lot of people go about looking for solutions that do not exist. A lot of people go about searching
I
for
swear.
powers where there's no power.
I know he said I should laugh, but I will laugh. This is hilarious.
I feel sorry for the people who have died, but I think that the people who have been
Why did he
patronizing this
even
guy.
need... Wait, I have asked a question. Why did he even need security men, though?
Imagine
When you think about it,
if
if
a
he's
person that
an
has
egg
spiritual
that
powers.
breaks palm nuts, and he has the power to disappear and is this and is that, why did he need AIDS?
So look again.
Let me shall be quiet.
I'm calling
Before
on
they
the,
say Dolupo's
I'm calling on the Nigerian authorities. Please rescue this guy, save his life. He has family and friends and people who are looking up to him. But again, his clients.
Use your common sense.
How stupid do you feel now?
How stupid you feel is the word.
There's a Yoruba saying that it's the person that the person that wants to give you a dress to wear. You look at the dress that the person is wearing.
No, the guy has hotels, looking
That's from conning people now to pay for treatment.
I don't say that word.
Or allegedly calling people to pay for treatment. But on a real, how do you go to
How
a guy
do you feel
for
now?
protection
You go for protection and it's the same person.
and the
that
guy
was
is not
that
protected?
If you know what is good for you, you better go and empty into the dustbin anything bad has ever
If you know
given
what is good for you, stop your crime, stop your illicit trade, stop your yahoo, and
Whatever thing he
invest
has
in
given you,
legitimate business.
go and throw it away because you might be next. Just advice.
You will be next.
Anyway,
Because crime does not pay.
moving on from that, and move on to another very interesting story. See, when I said people should trend carefully, remember we talked about clickbait and the urge to trend. Somebody is probably going to trend to jail now, and you know the truth, I don't feel sorry. Why? A particular lady went off a few days ago on a Nollywood actress, Eniola Badmus, talking about how this particular actress, they had seen her at a restaurant and in Lagos, and she had approached her friend. Long story short, accused this person of being, in her own words, a professional pimp. She went on, set ring lights and camera with microphone, and she was going on and on and on and on and on and on. You would think that she has video evidence of Eniola Badmus pimping her and her friend out.
Maybe she does. Maybe she did.
Maybe she did not. This one that I saw, I'm not sure she did.
So what happened?
So now the story is that Eniola Badmus decided not to look the other way.
Like everybody does.
Like everybody does.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria. And got her arrested. Now there are videos of her apologizing, saying she's sorry.
But where's the
that
evidence?
She does not have evidence that a particular person agreed to pay her 200,000 naira if she posted a video to malign Eniola Badmus.
And she did.
And she did.
And
now she's on her way to jail.
did she get the 200,000?
I don't know.
She has to pay her lawyers now. Did she get the 200,000?
At least she has.
Now she will not need money for rent because she's going to live
rent
rent free.
free. You know, you get food
Free meals.
Free clothing.
They said it's 3 times a day. You eat 3 times a day.
Free clothing.
Yeah.
Free.
There's space for exercise and
Life's
other things.
good.
We have said it over 1 million times, and people need to get these things into their skulls, right? You can allege, you can say anything, but just make sure you have the facts. Like, do not call people out if you do not have the clout. Do you understand? Because
If you don't have the liver for
when
it,
you're chasing
keep your
clout,
mouth.
make sure that you have, the kahunas, you have the balls to say, yeah, I stand my ground. Because I saw the lady's video too, and then she was like, yeah, she knows what she's saying. And now look that, auntie.
You can't be begging, no. Is that one that you cannot do? After the video that you made at first, you cannot be begging. It's not possible.
The funny part, I saw another video of this so-called Ego
Yeah.
something, right? Where she was like, the police are at our door. They're knocking. They want to break a door. They're going to... Okay.
That if anything happens to you, is then okay. Why are you afraid?
Really and truly. The funny thing is, look around you. Not in 20 years, in the last 7 months of this year, some media houses and other people have made allegations against people.
And people are just,
and they stood their ground.
Yeah.
And the people that they've made it against have not done nothing.
Not done anything. I agree.
So, if you really have your facts, don't beg Eniola Badmus.
Beg Eniola Badmus. So bring out your evidence and, let's go to court and all that.
Shut down everything that she's doing once and for all.
But you can't be begging.
But sister, if you don't have
you
facts,
can't be begging. Sir, I saw that video. You can't be that confident and you don't have evidence.
Yeah.
It's not possible. It doesn't make any sense. I think people need to learn their lessons in this kind of thing. Let's move on from that quickly. Sadly, the Federal Road Safety Corps had confirmed 8 people had been burned to death in an Ondo tanker explosion. That happened early this morning. Very sad. I saw a video where people were running away from the explosion. And I don't know. I thought that we were past this. It was sad that this
So
happened.
this one hit closer home for me as a person, as an Ondo person, and there's really not much I can say other than hope that the people who survive it are going to get proper treatment, and they're going to get good care from the government, and any individual that wants to chip in to help them. But we must play up the most important part, which is how do we prevent these things from happening? How do we bring it to the barest minimum? We're talking about a petroleum tanker. PMS is combustible, we know. But there are other highly combustible materials, especially gas that we are looking to start using now. So how did this happen?
We need to be very careful.
How did it happen? I hope that the owners of the truck and the driver will be sanctioned when they find out, if they find out that
they're culpable.
All
right, let's move on from that quickly. As we know, most people know that Big Brother Naija All Stars edition actually started yesterday. After the not very successful in Nigeria, the Big Brother Titans, the one with the Nigerians and
South Africa.
Africans, it was not. I don't think it was a hit in Nigeria. It could have been a hit in South Africa. It's very possible. And we also know that a South African won that. But this All Stars and basically his old housemates. In fact, I saw like about 2 people that had won different seasons.
White Money and Messier.
And I'm wondering, like, they already had money now. Why are they back?
Who doesn't want $120,000?
Anyway, there are a few people that are back. I think there are 20 of them now. Cece is back. Cece was in season 3. The double wala. Very interesting. Then, if I remember correctly, wasn't she expelled from...
She was kicked out.
She was kicked out at some point. Yeah. Kid Wire, season 5, very, very interesting person as well.
Crazy guy. When he saw Sissy walk in and he was like, he had gotten in before her. He's like, let me just give you the money and you leave. Like, Yeah, because regardless of the fact that Sissy might have been kicked out, was kicked out, she has this massive fan base.
Yeah, she does. Oh, yeah, she does. That she cannot.
So it's going to be a battle of the fan base.
Fan bases now, because they all seem, or not all, a lot of them, especially I think even the older ones, all this CC, Kid Wire, then there's Doing at season 7. I think at this point I had stopped watching Big Brother. At this point.
But it's entertainment, so we're talking
about Fraud.
There's Tolani Badge.
Yeah, there's Fraud from season 4.
In Fraud's case, a lot of people are talking about how isn't he married? Why is he there?
His wife is about to give birth.
And what's he doing there? His wife is about to give birth. That he said his wife allowed him. Then he stepped on a lot of toes during the electioneering process when I think he was supporting Atiku. And he was wondering why Peter Obi was contesting against Atiku, that was going to divide the votes and everything.
So,
and a lot of
going to play out.
A lot of Peter Obi supporters are like, we remember,
we're back. Yeah,
and we're going to deal with you.
We're going to deal with you. Okay, there was Uriel as well. That was as far back as season 2. There's Pere with in season 6 that is back. Princess that was also in season 3. Soma from season 2, Angel from season 6, Neo from season 5, Alex from season 3, Sheyawolowo from season 4, Ile Baye from season 7, Ike from season 4. Sorry, is Ike and not the...
Yeah, Ike was the guy that...
They had a very bad breakup and all that.
Apparently, they didn't even know they were both going to be there.
Oh, wow.
Because there's a part where he's like, look, he was distracted the other time, but this time he's here for the money. You understand?
Okay. Anyway, Verita from season 4.
And there's White Money.
There's White Money. There's Mercy herself. There's Adekunle. There
are 2 guys, White Money and another guy, who are kitchen guys. So there's a lot of talk about who's going to use the kitchen strategy again. And will it work?
Okay, so we'll see. And especially, that these people have been in the house before, so you're wondering like, okay, what's going to happen this time?
So Big Brother is on DSTV. Go check it out, especially if you are in Africa. Anyway, in Africa or Nigeria, go search for the Big Brother Nigeria channel. Go check it out, and we'll be bringing you updates from time to time.
From time to time. And on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. In fact, the sports updates that we couldn't take today, we're starting from that tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.